In 1940, a 35-year-old Jewish man living in Austria obtained a visa to come to the US. And despite the fact that the Nazi invasion of Austria was underway, he chose not to use it. This man was Viktor Frankl. 2 years after that, him, his pregnant wife, and his parents were captured by the Nazis and sent away to the death camps. Viktor was separated from his family, and he spent the next 3 years in hell. His experience was one of being stripped down to his bare naked existence and suffering to the most extreme degrees, where every day he woke up and only one of two things could possibly happen. Either he would be enslaved under torturous conditions or murdered. So because of these unthinkably horrific conditions, along with the fact that there was no end in sight, many people just committed suicide. They couldn't take it. And Viktor Frankl, already a psychologist at that point, and a brilliant one at that, was observing his experience with that frame of mind of what is the nature of existence even under conditions like this? Where do human beings find motivation even when they are stuck in hell? And he came to the conclusion that the people who lived through that, who endured that pain without ending their own life, did so because they had something that made their life worth living, despite the conditions that they were living in. He borrowed the quote a lot, which was uttered first by Friedrich Nietzsche, who said, "Who has a why to live can bear almost any how." And this was what Viktor Frankl came to see firsthand. The why for Frankl was the hope to reunite with his wife Tilly. Sadly, he didn't know that she had already died. But this was the main source of meaning that made the hell of camp life bearable. Viktor Frankl is a perfect example of existential intelligence. Existential intelligence was not actually included in the initial proposal of the theory of multiple intelligences. Howard Gardner left it out, but soon after that, after some critique and some second thought, Gardner added this to the theory. So now existential intelligence is one of the 9 intelligences in the multiple intelligences theory. And it's characterized by a sensitivity to the truths about existence. People who have a high level of existential intelligence are concerned with ultimate life issues. They are drawn to profound questions. They tend to be philosophical. They love wisdom. They yearn to understand the nature of human existence and the nature of reality. Existential intelligence has been valued in every culture throughout human history, and sometimes it takes the form of religion. And there's also secular versions of existential intelligence, the existential intelligence that a scientist might have. For example, one of my favorite Albert Einstein quotes is when he said, "The scientist's religious feeling takes the form of a rapturous amazement at the harmony of natural law, which reveals an intelligence of such superiority that compared with it, all the systematic thinking and doing of human beings is an utterly insignificant reflection." We all have all 9 intelligences to varying degrees, and so we can all appreciate deep questions. Questions where the answer is not readily available. Questions that inspire contemplation and a lifetime of observation. What is death in a world of energy that cannot be created or destroyed? And of course, what happens after a human being dies? Is there a soul? And what do we mean by a soul? Why are we conscious, and how is our consciousness brought about? And not only does God exist, but what do we mean with the word God? What is the meaning of meaning? And of course, is there inherent meaning in life? And if so, how can we discover it? And if not, can we create meaning in life? Is what we are experiencing the base reality? In the same way that the dreamer is the reality of a dream, is there a reality that substantiates the reality that we perceive? And Do we perceive reality clearly? Is there a reality independent of a perceiver's perception of it, or is perception reality? And if there is a reality independent of the perceiver's perception of it, how can we begin to perceive reality more accurately? And to what degree can human beings perceive reality objectively?
I'm so confused!
These are the thoughts of the existentially intelligent person. They're capable of feeling that magnitude of life, how profoundly vast and enormous and ancient and infinite life really is. And here we are, human beings going about our lives with so much unknown surrounding us. After his camp was liberated in 1945, Viktor Frankl went on to live for 52 more years and became a legendary psychologist. And he shared his insight about his questions about the meaning of life. And he came to the conclusion that life is meaningful. And if there is any meaning in life at all, then there must be meaning in life under all circumstances.
We are out to help our patients to rediscover the meaning in life.
He made three main arguments for why human life is meaningful. Number one, we die. The fact that our lives are finite makes them more meaningful. If our lives were not finite, if we did live forever, then our time wouldn't matter that much because we would always have more of it. But the fact that our time here is finite makes that time precious. It makes it meaningful. Another argument for why life is meaningful is time runs in one direction. There are no do-overs. If you imagine an existence where you could do it over, where you could lie your head on your pillow at night and think to yourself, you know what, let me try that day again. I didn't speak as sweetly as I meant to, so let me just do that over. If that were possible, then yeah, your moments would not be all that meaningful because you would always have the chance to do it over, but that's not how life is. We don't get do-overs, and therefore what's happening now and what we choose to do now matters very much. It has tremendous meaning because we can't do it again, and whatever we do becomes a link in the infinite chain of cause and effect. And the third argument for why your life is meaningful is the fact that every human being is completely unique. The combination of every individual's nature and experiences has rendered them a truly once-ever phenomenon, and therefore has made them capable of doing things in the world and loving people in the world in a way with a quality that cannot be replicated. You are truly irreplaceable, and to the degree that you feel your irreplaceability, your life will feel meaningful. No one can love who you love in the way that you love them. No one can do what you can do in exactly the way that you can do it. So for those three reasons, life is meaningful.
The unheard cry for meaning, to find and fulfill a meaning in his life, or for that matter, in each single life situation confronting him. And if there is a meaning to fulfill, if he's aware, if he becomes cognizant of such a meaning, then he's ready to suffer, he's ready to offer sacrifices, he's ready to undergo tension, stress, and so forth, without any harm being done to his health.
If you like this video and you want to see more, please subscribe.